This penultimate episode of Severance Season 2 is all about setting the stage for what I hope will be a chaotic and revealing finale. The biggest moment of the episode comes when Mark confronts Miss Cobell after Devon revealed his reintegration last week. He's furious at his sister and remains distrustful of Cobell, understandably so. We finally get confirmation that if Mark completes Project Cold Harbor, Gemma will be already dead. But beyond that, we still don't know what Cold Harbor actually is. Meanwhile, Lumen is preparing for Mark's return, expecting him to finish Cold Harbor. It's such a big deal that Helena Egan and her father James have a celebratory breakfast. Though much to James' disappointment, no raw eggs are involved. Mark's absence causes chaos at Lumen, with Milchick taking the brunt of Drummond's wrath. But after being repeatedly belittled, Milchick finally snaps, telling Drummond to devour feculence, and reminding him that off the clock, employees are his responsibility. Later, when Mark finally calls in, he says he just needs a day to himself, something that clearly shakes Milchick, who probably hasn't had a day off in his whole life. On the 7th floor, Dylan's love triangle with himself and his wife reaches a breaking point. She admits to his outie that she kissed his innie, leading to an angry confrontation before work. Later, she meets with innie Dylan and tells him she's cutting ties. In a desperate attempt, he proposes, but she shuts him down. Heartbroken, he confides in Helly, who reminds him that his outie's wife isn't really his wife. This drives home the brutal reality of his existence, leading him to make a huge decision. He signs an innie resignation form and steps into the elevator. But remember, Lumen doesn't view innies as real people, so honestly, I think he might have been sent to the testing floor. Helly, meanwhile, is trying to figure out what's happened to Mark. After confronting Milchick about his absence, she pointedly asks him why he still calls her Helly R instead of Helly E. Milchick reminds her that while her outie is his superior, she is his subordinate. Undeterred, she later tries to follow Irving's old notes to find the extractions hall, but before she can make any progress, James Egan suddenly appears, saying, "You tricked me, Helly." It's unclear what he means, but the fact he may have just come from the extractions hall is definitely suspicious. Elsewhere, we finally check back in with Irving. He returns home to find Bert reading through his anti-Lumen investigation notes. Turns out, Bert worked for Lumen before Severance, transporting people without asking what happened to them. And we can probably guess what really did happen to them. Chillingly, Bert insists they're going for a drive, and Irving asks if he's about to be transported too. But instead of delivering him to Lumen, Bert takes him to a train station, buying him a ticket and telling him to leave care for good. While the moment is emotional, I can't lie, I found this so frustrating. Irving had been working against Lumen, collecting all this evidence, and now he's just leaving. It doesn't quite add up, so I hope Severance has something more for him. The episode ends with Mark reluctantly agreeing to work with Cobell. He, Devon, and Cobell head to a birthing retreat, the same one where someone in season 1 claimed to have given birth as an innie, presumably so that outie wouldn't have to endure the pain. Their goal? Waking up innie Mark. When they arrive, security is suspicious and Cobell says something disturbing, referring to Devon as one of James. This heavily implies that James Egan might be using innies for more than just work, possibly even impregnating them. The final scene mirrors season 1's ending. Innie Mark wakes up disoriented as Devon calms him down. He sees Cobell and the episode ends with the same 2 words that ended last season's finale. She's alive. For me, this episode was a mixed bag. Character-wise, there was some great development. Milchick, Dylan, and even Miss Wong all got standout moments, but for a penultimate episode, it felt too slow. That being said, it's clear this was all about setting up next week's finale, and I expect some major chaos to unfold. Let me know your thoughts on the episode in the comments.